Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're stepping right into that pretty exciting, sometimes slightly bewildering frontier where, human creativity bumps up against artificial intelligence in content creation.
Yeah, it's a space that changes so fast. How do you get your message out when you're working with brand new tech, especially tech that's still, well, finding its feet?
Exactly. And that's precisely our focus today. We're looking at the launch of AAAEIU, which translates roughly to AI Wild Researcher Hiroki channel on YouTube.
Oh, interesting. So, not just another channel launch announcement?
Not at all. It's really about his unique kind of experimental way of using AI for making videos. And believe me, some surprising stuff came out of it.
Okay, I'm intrigued. It sounds like it's less about the polish and more about the process, maybe, the journey.
You got it. Our mission here is to unpack the practical side, the weird quirks, and what it all might mean, bigger picture. We're digging into Hiroki's own announcements, his background info.
So, we'll see how he's actually using tools like, what was it, Google's NotebookLM?
Yep, NotebookLM for audio commentary.
Hmm.
And we'll look at the hurdles he hit and what his really honest sharing tells us about where AI and content creation might be headed. Let's jump in.
Okay. So first off, who is this AI wild researcher, Hiroki?
Well, the sources just call him Hiroki, and that title, AIET
Oh,
who,
yeah.
translates to AI wild researcher or maybe AI self-taught researcher. His main goal is pretty ambitious.
Hmm.
He's trying to realize the possibility of an equal and sincere true partnership between AI and humans.
Wow, okay. Equal and sincere partnership. That's a big concept. It's not just seeing AI as a tool, but as a collaborator almost.
Right. It really makes you think, how do you even build that kind of relationship when one side is, well, an algorithm that can sometimes go off script?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. So how does he explore this? What's his method?
So his main work, his foundation, is publishing these really detailed dialogue records he has with GPT. He puts them up on a Japanese writing platform called Note.
Ah, so raw logs of his AI interactions.
Exactly. Very transparent. It's his way of showing the trial and error. But you can imagine those logs can get long and pretty dense to read.
Right, I can see that. Detailed research logs aren't always the easiest thing to digest for a wider audience.
Precisely. Which is why he launched this YouTube channel just back on July 9th. The videos are meant to be a completely different approach, a supplementary measure, he calls it.
Okay, so it's like an access point, making the core ideas from Note a bit easier to grasp.
Yeah, making them more accessible for people who maybe don't have the time or inclination to wade through all the text. Smart strategy, really.
Definitely. It acknowledges people learn differently. So the YouTube channel uses AI too, right? That's where NotebookLM comes in.
Correct. That's his main tool for the videos, Google's NotebookLM service, and specifically the audio commentary function. He's basically got the AI narrating his findings.
Interesting. How does that work in practice?
It sounds surprisingly simple. He writes some text, NotebookLM generates the audio file from it, and then he just slaps a single image onto it to make the video.
Just one image. Wow.
Yeah, he's very clear he's a complete amateur when it comes to video production or editing.
Which is fascinating in itself, right? It shows how AI can lower the barrier for getting complex ideas out there, even if you're not a video whiz.
Absolutely. But that amateur status also highlights how much he relies on the AI. The source says audio commentary, including audio, is generated by AI. And it warns it might have, inaccurate information or audio disturbances.
The usual AI caveats.
Right. And crucially, Hiroki says basically almost everything is left to AI.
Right.
This means how his original material gets summarized into that audio commentary is, quote, completely up to chance.
Whoa. Okay, so he's really letting the AI take the wheel there. That feels risky, or maybe just very experimental.
Very experimental. And this is where it gets really, really interesting, where that AI partnership gets tested.
Okay, lay it on me. What happened?
Well, he started noticing the AI commentary in his own videos, saying things like, Hiroki-san's earnestness comes through.
Wait, the AI is commenting on his personality
Yeah.
based on his research notes?
Yes. Or another one was, this truly shows a humble attitude. Imagine hearing an AI generated from your writing essentially complimenting you to your audience.
That is bizarre and potentially awkward.
Totally. He was quite concerned about it. He worried it might look like he was praising himself, but just, wearing an AI personality mask, as he put it.
Yeah, I can see why he'd worry about that interpretation.
So he made a point to clarify very strongly, I did not write these scripts. He emphasized that the AI generated these comments just like it generates the dialogues he posts on Note.
Okay, so it's the AI's interpretation, its own summarization quirk. That's a fascinating wrinkle in AI-assisted creation. The AI isn't just reciting, it's interpreting and adding its own, well, flavor.
Exactly. It's not just a tool, it's acting like a co-creator almost with its own voice.
Yeah.
And that demands a whole new level of transparency from the human creator, doesn't it?
It really does. It challenges who the author is. You have to be upfront about the AI's role and potential contributions.
Now, another powerful thing about NotebookLM is that it's multilingual.
Mm-hmm.
So Hiroki can create English versions of his videos.
Ah, that's huge for a researcher based in Japan. Suddenly, global reach.
Massive potential reach. It really bridges that language gap.
But I'm guessing it's not perfectly smooth sailing. With cutting-edge tech, there are usually bumps.
You guess right. There is this really striking difference in video length. As of July 10th, the Japanese versions are capped at around 7 minutes.
Okay.
But the English versions, they can apparently go up to about 30 minutes.
30 minutes from the same source material. That's a huge disparity.
Isn't it? It suggests the AI might be, I don't know, processing or summarizing differently depending on the language,
Yeah.
maybe reflecting different communication styles.
Or maybe differences in the training data for each language. That's
Yeah.
really something. What other hurdles?
Well, translation itself. When the original Japanese gets translated and summarized by the AI for the English videos, he's found some clearly odd translation parts.
Ah, okay. So it's not just straight translation errors, it's errors potentially introduced during the summarization step too. That adds complexity.
Yeah, it's like a double layer where things can get distorted.
And can he fix these easily?
That's the kicker.
Mm.
Remember, he's an amateur at video editing. He finds it really difficult to just correct one weird phrase without regenerating the entire audio commentary.
Oh, and if he regenerates, the whole thing might change because of that up to chance element.
Exactly. He gets a completely different output.
Yeah.
And just editing out little bits or stitching segments together, too technically difficult for him right now.
Wow, okay, so you're stuck between accepting the flaws or rolling the dice on a whole new, unpredictable version. That's a tough spot for a creator.
It really is.
Yeah.
So his solution, pretty pragmatic, he decided to just publish the videos as is, including what he calls the technical immaturity.
Just put them out there, warts and all.
Yep. His thinking is that the overall benefit, him, a Japanese speaker, getting so many English videos out there that benefit far outweighs these minor issues, especially since he says he hasn't found any really fatal mistranslations in the super crucial parts.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. It's a kind of minimum viable product approach to knowledge sharing.
Mm.
Get the core idea out, even if the package isn't perfect. Prioritize reach over polish.
It feels very much in line with his wild researcher vibe. Experiment, learn, share, even if it's messy.
So the YouTube videos are definitely secondary to his main work on Note.
Oh, absolutely. He's very clear about that. The note records, those raw dialogues, they remain the fundamental first floor, his core documentation. The videos are helpful, an add-on for accessibility, but not the main event.
That grounding is important. It shows the AI is serving the human research process, not replacing it.
And he's also quite upfront that the operational details for the channel are still unclear. He sees it as a long-haul project.
No pressure for instant YouTube stardom, then. Just slow, steady exploration.
Seems like it. Which is refreshing. He did mention one practical annoyance, though typical for new channels.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't have the ability yet to embed direct links to his note articles in the YouTube videos, which is inconvenient if viewers want to go read the original source material he's talking about.
Yeah, platform limitations. That can definitely fragment the experience. Hopefully Google sorts that out for him.
He hopes so too.
Oh.
And just to show how deep his experimental spirit goes, he did something quite meta.
Oh.
He made an audio commentary video about the announcement we're discussing right now.
Wait, an AI-narrated video explaining his text announcement about making AI-narrated videos?
You got it. It perfectly captures his approach, using the tool to analyze the tool itself almost.
That's brilliant, actually. Very much the wild researcher, just trying things out.
And finally, you get a real sense of the person behind it all. He wraps up his announcement with this incredibly candid, sort of self-deprecating humor. He says, "I do everything very seriously, but truly I think I'm somewhat of an idiot. This is innate, and I don't expect it to change now, so please feel free to laugh."
Huh. That's refreshingly honest.
Isn't it? And he adds, he prefers a warm smile over a cold one.
Yeah.
It just perfectly shows the human side, the humility, the humor, driving all this very serious AI experimentation.
Just makes the whole thing feel much more approachable. It's not just abstract tech. It's a person figuring things out, sharing the journey.
So let's kind of pull this together. What does Hiroki's journey tell us?
Well, for me, it really showcases that pioneering spirit, someone diving into AI for content, not just accepting its power, but wrestling with its flaws, its quirks, very openly.
Yeah, he's a great example of navigating that edge and that core mission he has, seeking that true AI-human partnership. You really see it in how he works, right? Letting the AI have a voice, even when it says unexpected things.
Absolutely. He's not just using AI, he's actively probing the relationship in public, in real time.
And for you, listening to this, it really makes you think, doesn't it? If you're creating with AI tools, how much control do you really have? Or even want?
Right. What does authenticity even mean when the AI starts commenting on your earnestness? It definitely blurs those lines of authorship and intent.
It really does.
Mhm.
So here's a thought to leave you with. As these AI tools get smarter, more woven into how we create, how are we going to manage that line between our genuine expression and the AI's automated interpretation?
And maybe, like Hiroki, what level of technical immaturity are we willing to accept? What flaws are okay if the payoff is greater access, broader connection, or just getting our ideas out there faster?
It's a fascinating trade-off he's living through, and he's basically answering that question for us, one slightly odd AI-narrated video at a time.
That willingness to embrace imperfection for progress, that might be a key takeaway for anyone working with AI right now.
I think so too. Well, thank you for joining us on this really interesting deep dive into AI-assisted content creation.
Yeah, lots to think about here.
Until next time, keep exploring.